Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Mason African Motives, working on mathematics N1. So in this case we shall be focusing on the question paper which was written on the 30th of March 2020. So we shall focus on this question paper and see actually what we were given. So if you're new to my channel, you can actually consider subscribing so that you won't miss any of the classes that we shall be having from Mason African Motives. So as you can see guys, N1, everything is just 3 hours and supposed to be written in that time 3 hours and 100 marks for that. Okay, so this is the first question actually that we were given on this question paper: to simplify the following using exponents without using a calculator. Without using a calculator, guys. All right, let's see. So on 1.11 we're given this part here, which is actually a to the exponent of 3 times a to the exponent of 2 times 2a to the exponent of 0, like that. Okay, so how can we simplify this? Applying the laws of exponent, there are so many laws that you can actually apply. Take note, here there is a 1 and here there is a 1, so you can actually multiply these numbers. 1 times 1 times 2. If you multiply the numbers separately, 1 times 2, which is 2. All right, then you move on to this part with the a. The bases are the same, you're multiplying, so you're going to add the exponent. So you add 3 plus 2 plus a 0, like that. So as you can see, you're going to obtain 2a to the exponent of 3 plus 2, which is 5, plus 0, which is 5. So our answer is going to be 2a to the exponent of 5. So like I said, guys, there are so many ways. It's not like this is the only option that you could have used. There are so many ways that you could have applied there. All right, so let's see the other part that we had. 1.12 again is to simplify, okay, using the laws of exponents. This is what we had on 1.12. So how can we simplify this part here? All right, so if you are to cross-check properly, guys, the first part, there is nothing that I can actually do, so I can just rewrite as this as it is. All right, multiply by, I'm given this part, there's a bracket here and everything is raised to the exponent of 2. So I'm going to apply from my laws of exponents. Remember, if you are given something like this, it's going to be m to the exponent of a, n to the exponent, everything is going to be raised to the exponent of what? Of a. So it is the same concept here. Everything inside this bracket is going to be raised to the exponent of a, because this is the same as 1, 1, 1. So 4 is 1 times 2, which is 4 to the exponent of 2. X to the exponent of 1 times 2, which is x to the exponent of 2. The same, y to the exponent of 2, everything. Okay, from this part we are given this is a times, not a plus. This is a times. Okay, so we're going to multiply with, there is a bracket, everything in this bracket is raised to the exponent of 0, and we know that anything to the exponent of 0 is 1. Okay, over, we're going to rewrite this as it is. So it's going to be 4 x to the exponent of 4, y to the exponent of 3. Okay, so let's see what we're going to have. So you can apply the laws of exponents, yes, or we can just try to combine first. 4 squared, this one is 16, so it's 3 times 4 squared times 1, okay, which is going to give you 48 from your calculator. You multiply 3, 4 squared and 1, you're going to obtain 48. Okay, then here you're multiplying the bases, which are the same for x and x, so you're going to add the exponents. So it's x to the exponent of 2 plus 2, which is x to the exponent of 4. So it's going to be x to the exponent of 4, like that. We have got y here and y here, you do the same. So it's 3 and 2, which is going to give you y to the exponent of 5 if you add properly. Everything over, this part is going to remain 4x to the exponent of 4, y to the exponent of 3. All right, so what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to divide 48 divide by 4, so this is going to give you 12 from your calculator. Here actually these two are the same. Instead of you applying the laws of exponents here, you can just cancel these because they are the same, so you can cancel them. You are left with y to the exponent of 5 divide by y to the exponent of 3. So you're going to subtract 5 minus 3. You subtract exponents, which is going to be y to the exponent of 5 minus 3, which is 2. So everything is going to give us 12y squared, like that. Okay, so that is what we are being asked to simplify on 1.12. So exponents, guys, just a matter of applying the laws and so forth. Okay, the other part on 1.13 is the fourth root of that number that you're given there, and the other part. So what can we actually do on this part, because we are given that is the fourth root of 16. Take note, 16x to the exponent of 4. How do we simplify this? We have given 16x to the exponent of 4, y to the exponent of 8 multiply by 1 over 3, and we are given the square root of 81x squared y to the exponent of 6. Okay, so how can I simplify this part? Okay, you can find the fourth root of 16. This one is simple. You can actually find the fourth root of 16, the number that multiplies itself 4 times. Remember, I asked not to use a calculator, so we know that this one is 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 4 times gives us a 16. 2 times 2 4, 4 times 2 8, 8 times 2, which is 16. So which means the fourth root of 16 is actually a 2, that part. Okay, but now the part that is to worry us is on how to remove for the x to the exponent of 4 and y to the exponent of 2 if we are given this part. So how am I going to simplify? This is not 2 but 8, y to the exponent of 8. I'm writing the answer instead of, okay. So in this case, for these two, you are going to apply this concept here. Remember that when you are given the nth root of x, it means x to the exponent of 1 over n. Okay, so in this case, what you're given, there is the fourth root of this part. So this x here, it actually means everything, like x to the exponent of 4, y to the exponent of 8, like this. Everything is being raised to the exponent of 1 over 4, like this. So this 1 over 4, since it is an exponent, it is going to affect this 1 over 4 and this 4 and 8. So it's going to be x to the exponent of 4 times 1 over 4, y to the exponent of 8 times 1 over 4. Okay, so if you use your calculator properly, in fact no calculators were being allowed, so this one is going to give us a 1. So it's x to the exponent of 1, which is same as x. Okay, and this one is going to give us a 2, which is same as y to the exponent of 2. Okay, so this one is going to give us x y to the exponent of 2. Multiply by 1 over 3, just write your 1 over 3, you obtain, yes, the square root. So what is the square root of 81? We know that the square root of 81 is 9. But here we have got x and y, so we're going to apply the same thing for x and y. We are going to take that x squared, y to the exponent of 6, everything to the exponent of half. Remember, square root means to the exponent of a half, which is 1 over 2. So this 1 over 2 is going to multiply 2 and also multiply 6. So it's x to the exponent of 2 times 1 over 2, y to the exponent of 6 times 1 over 2, everything. So 2 times 1 over 2, that's a 1. 6 times 1 over 2, that's a 3. So you're going to obtain y to the exponent of 3. So this one is going to give you x y to the exponent of 3. But you're not done. Why? Because you have to multiply by a third. So it's 9 times a third. So you're going to obtain 2x y to the exponent of 2 multiply by 1 over 3 times 9. This one you can just use your calculator. If the question is saying do not use your calculator, guys, doesn't mean that. It means at this stage you are not supposed to use a calculator, but other stages you can actually use your calculator. Okay, so this one is going to give you 3 x y to the exponent of 3. Now you are left with the numbers to multiply, so you can multiply 2 and 3, that's 6. And we've got x and x, so x times x, that's x squared, because you have x to the exponent of 1 times x to the exponent of 1, you add the exponents, which is x squared. You have y to the exponent of 2, y to the exponent of 3, you add the exponents, 2 plus 3, which is 5. So you're going to obtain 6x squared y to the exponent of 5. Okay, so that was everything, guys. You've got 3 marks for that. So as you can see, it's a matter of play around again with numbers there, simplifying On 1.2, the following logarithms without using a calculator again. Okay, without using a calculator, guys. So you're supposed to be used actually on these typical questions. Okay, so you are given log 5 plus log 2, everything over log 20 plus log 5. All right, so what can we do in this case? Let's see. We can apply the laws of logarithms here. Why? Because we know that when we are adding the logarithms, log m plus log n is going to give you log mn. So you can multiply the numbers under the same logarithm, provided that the bases are the same. So if the base is not indicated, it means you are in base 10. Okay, so it means you're in base 10. So you can multiply these numbers. So it's log 5 times 2 like this, over, you do the same, you're adding, the base are the same, is base 10, so you multiply 20 and 5, so it's log 20 times 5. All right, so what am I going to obtain? 5 times 2, that's 10, so I'm going to obtain log 10 over 20 times 5 from I'm going to obtain a 100. This one is a 100. Okay, so I'm left with log 10 over log 100. So I've got many options to simplify this. Okay, I know that when I'm working with base 10, this is supposed to be important for you for base 10. Logarithm of 1 in base 10 is a 0. Logarithm of 10 in base 10, that's a 1. Logarithm of 100 in base 10 is a 2. Logarithm of 1000 in base 10 is a 3. So the number of zeros gives your answer, the number of zeros. So in this case, we've got logarithm of 10, which is a 1, over logarithm of 100, which is a 2. So you're going to obtain your answer as 1 over 2, because you know the value of log 10 and you know the value of log 100. So these ones, you just write your answer like that. All right. Another part on 1.12 is to simplify again. Log we are given, it's log 7 log 10 minus a half log 64 base 2, like this, half log 64 base 2. All right, so what am I going to do? If you are to cross check, the first part is the same as the one that we just talked about, where we are given a log 10 there. So which means on this part is a repetition, this one, because we said log 10 is a 1. So whenever I see log 10, I'm seeing a 1. So this one is same as 7 times 1, which is 7, minus a half. I'm going to simplify this, log 64 in base 2. Okay, so what can I do to simplify this? Okay, I'm going to let logarithm of 64, remember the working in base 2, be equal to x, so that I can find the actual value for log 64 base 2. Okay, so remember from this concept here, if you are given log a base b is equal to c, it means that a is equal to b to the exponent of c, like this. So this is your a, so 64 is equal to b, which is the base is 2, so it's 2 to the exponent of c, which is x. Okay, so you can find the value of x by making these two numbers to be the same, 64 and 8, 64 and 2. 64 in base of 2 is 2 to the exponent of 6, which is equal to 2 to the exponent of x. So we know that when the bases are the same, the exponents are the same, so x is equal to 6. So it means log 64 in base 2 gives us a 6, so it's going to be half times 6. Okay, so you're going to obtain 7 minus half of 6, which is going to give us a 3. Okay, so half of 6, this one is simply a 3. So you subtract 7 minus 3, that is going to give you a 4. So take note, the log is no longer there. You have simplified, you have taken off the log by simplifying the logs first. So the logarithms are no longer there. So that is what you are going to remain with at the end. All right, another part on question, so this is actually question 1. We have taken out 16 marks here. On question 2, we are asked to determine divide. You are dividing actually there. So what are they asking us to do, guys, when they say divide? These guys, they are actually clever. The way they ask their questions is something else. Okay, so let's see what they wanted us to do here. So you want or to divide these two expressions. So these are expressions, algebraic polynomials or algebraic expressions. So what am I going to do here? The first thing, when you're asked to divide this, you're going to apply long division because this is a cubic expression. And remember that when you're applying long division, it's simply something like this. All right, so this is what you're having. You are dividing by 2b minus 3. So this is going to be 2b minus 3, which is this part that is dividing everything. So you're going to have 4b to the exponent of 3 minus 12b to the exponent of 2 plus 5b plus 6. Okay, so let's apply the long division. How do you apply long division? Remember the concept. You divide the first term and the first term here. The first term here divide by the first term. So it's 4b squared divided by 2b like this. 4b cubed like this. Divide by the first term, which is 2b. Okay, so 4 divided by 2, that is 2. B to the exponent divided by b, so this is going to give us b squared. Okay, or you can just subtract the exponent 3 minus 1, which is 2. So when you divide 4b squared divided by 2b, you obtain 2b squared. This is what we are going to write it. Okay, so take note, guys. The answer that you obtain here, you multiply it back these two terms, 2b and minus 3. So you multiply everything. So it's 2b squared times 2b. You multiply back 2b squared times 2b. So it's going to give you 4b to the exponent of 3. You multiply again 2b squared times minus 3. So it's 2 times minus 3, which is minus 6b squared. So you divide, then you multiply back everything. Okay, after multiplying, what are you going to do? You subtract whatever that you're going to get, you subtract it. Okay, so let's subtract and see what you're going to have. So it's 4 minus 4. These two are the same, so it's going to be a 0. Okay, and you've got minus 12 minus 6, because this is b squared. So it's minus 12 minus 6. So take note from your calculator, you're supposed to indicate like this: minus 12 minus 6 like this. Okay, so you're going to obtain minus 6. So you're going to have minus 6b squared. All right. So after subtracting, what am I going to do? I'm just going to drop these numbers, drop this 5b, so it's plus 5b, drop this 6, so it's plus 6. All right, I'm done on this stage. I'm dividing again. 2b divided by this, so it's minus 6b squared divided by 2b. Okay, minus 6b squared like this. Divide, always you divide by that first term, divide by first term. Okay, so 2 into minus 6 is minus 3, b into b squared, that's a b, so it's going to be minus 3b. So you're going to have minus 3b. After dividing, what do? I multiply back. So minus 3b multiplies everything here, minus 3 and 2. So it's going to give us minus 6b squared. All right, minus 3 and minus 3. So it's minus 3b times minus 3b, which is plus 9b. All right, you subtract again, just like what we did from the previous stage. What are you going to have from these two? So it's minus 6 minus minus 6. So this one is going to give you a 0 from your calculator. Minus 6 minus minus 6, that's a 0. So this one is eliminated. You move on. 5b minus plus 9b, so it's actually 5 minus 9, and 5 minus 9, that's minus 4b from your calculator. So you're done subtracting, you drop this 6 here, so it's going to be plus 6. So the remainder, you just take it down. Okay, after taking down the remainder, you go back again, you divide, guys. Minus 4b divide by 2b, so this time it's like this: minus 4b like this, divide by 2b, so b and b will cancel. Minus 4 divided by 2, which is minus 2, so you're going to obtain minus 2. You multiply back, guys. Minus 2 times minus 2, which is minus 4b, minus 2 and minus 3, so minus 2 times minus 3, which is plus 6. So as you can see, these two are the same. You have got minus 4b, 6 and 6, so this is going to give us a 0 there, so there's nothing that we're going to have. So after dividing this, guys, what are we having? this is what you're going to have. So the answer after dividing everything is this part here. This is the answer, which is 2b squared minus 3b minus 2. So this is what you're going to have after divide. So if you divide this by this, you're going to have this as your answer, which is here. So that's long division, guys. So we shall have a platform where we are going to work with these areas as a separate topic, working with separate topics, explaining these topics also. It is going to be very, very important for us. Okay, anyways, but that's what we had on this part. Okay, so take note, from this expression subtract this part from this expression. So from, you subtract where you are given from. So you're asked from what? From 3a squared minus 7b minus 3. From this expression subtract. What are you subtracting from this expression? We are subtracting this 5b minus 4a squared plus 5. So you're subtracting, open bracket, 5b minus 4a squared plus 5. So you open a bracket there so that you can affect everything, because you are subtracting everything. So that's why you open a bracket. The minus has to affect everything. Okay, so this first part is nothing because it's affected by 1, so it's going to remain as it is. 3a squared minus 7b minus 3 minus times 5b minus 5b minus times 4a squared. So minus and minus, that's a plus. 4a squared minus and a plus, which is minus 5. So you are going to collect like terms. So we've got 3a squared and 4a squared, collect like terms, minus 7b and 5b. So it's minus 7b minus 5b. We have minus 3 and minus 5. So you are just collecting like terms. There is nothing that is going to change its sign. You are not changing anything, any sign there. Okay, so now let's add, because this is a squared and a squared. So 3 plus 4, that is 7 a squared. Okay, you move on to b. This is minus 7b minus 5b, which is minus 12b from your calculator. Minus 3 minus 5 from your calculator, this is negative 8. All right, so this is what you're going to have. So according to this part, that was a b, so you have to write it as a b like that. Don't change anything, just write as it is from what you have. Okay, so that is how we had, and that's 9 marks for everything. The first question and the other part, everything 9 marks, because this was 3 marks on 2.2. So that's how you answer these questions. Okay, on question 3, fully factorize the following expressions. Fully factorize. All right, how am I going to factorize the first expression, which is 2x squared minus 50x? You're asked to fully factorize. Okay, so factorization, guys, it's a matter of the highest common factor. We have 2 and 50. 2 is common, x squared and x is common. So what am I going to have if I factor out 2x? So I'm going to divide this by the number that you factor out is the one that you divide. So it's 2x squared like this, divide by 2x. 2 and 2 cancel. X squared divided by x, that's x. Okay, you move on to minus 50x divided by 2x. So minus 50 divided by 2, that's minus 25. Okay, x and x will cancel. There is nothing that is left that you can do. X minus 25, this is not a difference of 2 squares. This is not x squared minus 25. So there's nothing that you're going to do. You are done at this stage. So they give you these questions sometimes as a temptation, because they know some of you will try to use a difference of 2 squares there. All right, on 3.12, still on factorizing. This time we are given 2x squared plus 6x minus x minus 3 like this. All right, so remember, when you are given 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, you are given 4 terms. How do you factor out like that? Okay, so the issue there is to group. You're going to group this into 2 by grouping. So you're going to have this into 2 equal parts, into 2. So for the first 2, you factor out what is common. So you've got 2x 6x. 2x squared, 6x. So 2 is common, x is common. So you can factor 2x here. So what am I going to have if I factor out 2x? Just like what I was doing, guys, you divide 2x squared, divide by 2x. So it's going to be x. Because this and this will cancel. X squared divided by x, that's x. 6x divided by 2x, this is going to be 6x divided by 2x like this. X and x will cancel. 6 divided by 2, that's 3. All right, so always when you are doing by grouping, guys, the second part is supposed to give us the same bracket as this bracket of x plus 3. But take note, here you've got minus x minus 3. So what are you going to factor out? You factor out the negative 1 so that it's going to be a positive. So that minus x divided by minus 1 is a plus x. Minus 3 divided by minus 1 it's a plus 3 like this. All right, so this is what you're supposed to do. Once the brackets are the same, you factor out the common bracket, which is x plus 3. When you factor out this bracket, what are you going to remain with? You remain with 2x. What about here? What are you remaining with? You remain with minus 1. All right, so this is what you are going to have after factorizing, and that's 4 marks for that. Wow, nice typical question. Anyways, all right, let's see what we have on 3.2. Simplify. So you're asked to simplify this expression, and that's 4 marks for that. And guys, this is something else. Let's see actually what you're supposed to do. 2a minus 4 over a plus 4, which is being divided to a minus 2 over 4a plus 8. Okay, guys, when you are working with division, you are dividing fractions like that, it is best for you to introduce multiplication before you do your factorization. Before you forget about that, introduce multiplication. And the moment you introduce a multiplication, you are going to invert to change the second fraction. Not the first, but the second fraction is the one that you interchange. Okay, so this is going to remain as it is, 2a minus 4 over a plus 4 multiplied by, the moment you introduce multiplication, you are now inverting. So this is going to be written on top, 4a plus 8, and this is going to be written below, which is over a minus 2 like that. All right, then now you can do your factorization. All right, so on the first part here, 2 is common. So I can factor out 2. 2a divided by 2, that's a, minus 4 divided by 2, which is minus 2 like this. Everything a plus 4, this one is in exact form. There's nothing I can do, so I'm just going to rewrite as it is. Okay, multiply by, I've got 4a plus 8, and 4 is common, so I can factor out 4. What am I going to remain with? So it's 4a divided by 4, you're going to remain with a. 8 divided by 4, which is 2 like this. Everything over a minus 2. There's nothing I can do, just going to rewrite as it is. All right, now at that stage that I am having, what am I going, this was a plus 2, this one was 2a minus 4 over a plus 2. I'm wondering what's happening. This is a plus 2. Thanks for those who actually saw this. This was a plus 2. Look, cross check here, guys. This is a plus 2. It's the way that I took. This is a plus 2. All right, 2a minus 4 a over a plus 2. So all right, so now at this stage you can perform your cancelling. You cancel, okay, so let's cancel the numerator versus the denominator. Okay, a plus 2 cancels, a minus 2 cancels. So here we're going to remove with 1 and 1, and here with 1. So 2 times 1, that is 2 over 1 times 1, which is 1. So 2 over 1 is same as what? Same as 2. There's nothing that is going to change there. Okay, so guys, these are some of the mistakes that you do in exam, rewriting numbers in a wrong way. So this exam, guys, you have to be very, very careful. All right, so the other part, determine the lowest common multiple, that is the LCM, and the highest common factor, HCF, of the following algebraic terms by using prime factors. All right, so as we can see on this part, guys, there is a need for you to write this as a product of its prime factors 9, 6. Okay, so let me just write these expressions not to confuse you. Let me just rewrite this. So the first one is 9r to the exponent of 4, x squared, y to the exponent of 3. All right, 6r to the exponent of 3, x to the exponent of 3, y to the exponent of 2, 42, r to the exponent of 2, x to the exponent of 5, y to the exponent of 7. All right, so what am I going to do, guys? I'm going to write this as a product of their prime factors. Remember, 9, the smallest number that you can actually use, 9 is just 3 and 3. 9 there, it's just 3 times 3. Okay, where are we getting this from? Just write 9 and 3, the smallest number. 3 into 9, that is 9 divided by 3, which is 3. And again, 3 is the smallest number, so 3 divided by 3, which is 1. So actually, 9 is 3 times 3. Okay, so this is what I have, 3 times 3. And this is going to be r to the exponent of 4, x to the exponent of 2, y to the exponent of 3. Okay, what about 6? We do the same on 6. The smallest number on 6 is 2. So you divide 6 divided by 2, that's 3. The smallest number is 3. 3 divided by 3, which is 1. So 6 is same as 2 times 3. So it's 2 times 3 times r to the exponent of 3, x to the exponent of 3, y to the exponent of 2. Okay. What about 42? We do the same on 42. The smallest number is 2. So you divide 42 divided by 2, which is 1. That's 21. The smallest number is 3 this time, so 21 divided by 3, which is 7. Okay, the smallest number this time is 7. 7 divided by 7, which is 1. So we've got 2, 3, and 7. 2 by 3 by 7 by r to the exponent of 2, x to the exponent of 5, y to the exponent of 7, like that. Okay. So let's start with the first part that you're given, which is the LCM. The first part is the LCM, which is the lowest common multiple. So LCM, whenever you are working with the LCM, guys, you take all the given variables, and numbers. So these variables and numbers should be there. But when you are working with the variables, you take the one with the highest exponent, All right, so that is the idea there. So let's start with the numbers. We are going to take, as you can see here, we've got 2 and 2, but this is common, so we have got 2 here and got 2, so I'm not going to repeat this. I'm going to take one of these. Okay, so the LCM, we are going to take 2 multiply by, where there are many numbers. Okay, we have got 3 here, we've got 3 here, but there are many here on 9, which is 3 times 3. So I'm going to take 3 times 3. Okay, I move on to another number that I'm having, which is 7. This is the remaining number. Remember I said you take everything, so you only have this 7, so you're going to multiply by 7. Okay, then we are now working with the variables. On the variables, we have got r here, but the one with the highest exponent, this is 2, 3, and this is 4. This is the one with the highest exponent, so we're going to take r to the exponent of 4. Okay, so this is r, guys, to the exponent of 4, multiply by, you have x, the one with exponent, the highest exponent is x to the exponent of 5. So this is x to the exponent of 5, multiply by, you move on to y, the one with highest exponent is y to the exponent of 7. Alright, so at this stage you are left with nothing but to simplify. How am I going to simplify? That is the question that someone is asking now. How am I going to simplify this? Okay, so what you're going to do is to multiply these numbers together. 2 times 3 times 3 times 7, which is going to give you something like 126. Okay, these ones you just write them as they, remember this is r here, so it's r to the exponent of 4, x to the exponent of 5, y to the exponent of 7. So this is going to be your LCM. So LCM, guys, take note, you take every term, all given terms, variables, numbers, all of them, they should be there. Okay, which is different, actually different from the HCF. Why? Because the HCF you are working with a common factor. So you are supposed to work with common numbers, common variables. Okay, so what is going to be the HCF? Let's start with the numbers. Where do we have those numbers again? Okay, we have them here. So let's start with the numbers here. 2 is 2 common. 2 is not common. We have 2 here. We have 2 here, but here we don't have 2. So 2 is totally out. We can't take these 2. Okay, we move on to 3. 3, we have got 3 here. We have got 3 here. We have got 3 here. So 3 is common. So you take the number which is common. So 3 is common throughout. Okay. What about, okay, these 3 cannot be taken. Why? Because we have 3 here, but we do not have 3 because we have already taken this one. We are no longer having any 3 that is left, so there's nothing. 7 is not common, so you can't take this. HCF, everything has to be common. LCM, you take everything. All right. So now when you are now talking about exponents, you take the one with the smallest exponent. The term has to be common, but you take the one with the smallest exponent. Okay, so as we can see here, R is common, but which one is the lowest or the smallest exponent? Is this one, R to the exponent of 2. As you can see, this is 3, this is 4, so you're going to take R to the exponent of 2. You move on to X. X is common. Yes, we've got X here, X here, X here, but which one is the smallest exponent? X to the exponent of 2. Okay, you move on to Y. Which one is the smallest exponent? Which is this one, Y to the exponent, because this is 3, this is 7, so the smallest is 2, Y to the exponent of 2. So this becomes your highest common factor. Highest common factor, you take the smallest or the least exponent. The LCM, you take the highest common, the highest exponent or the largest exponent. Okay, so that is the idea there. So that's how they actually play around these questions. So that was actually number 3. Okay, let's see on number 4. Solve for X. Solve for X. Okay, that is solve for X. The first part there, you want to solve for X. So that is 4.11. Okay, sorry for that. So you want to solve for X whilst you are given that is 2X into X minus 1 minus 2 X squared plus 5, which is equal to minus 7, like this, and you want to solve for X. So actually when you are solving is like simplifying. You ask yourself, what am I given? What can I do with the information, like the brackets? You expand the brackets and so forth. So you can actually expand these brackets because you've got 2x, which is outside the bracket. Okay, so it's 2x and x, which is going to give us 2x squared, 2x and minus 1, which is minus 2x. Okay, this part remains as it is, minus 2x squared plus 5, which is equal to negative 7. Before you transpose the numbers, first see what you have there. Okay, if you are to collect like terms, you're going to see that here we've got 2x squared here minus 2x squared. These two can actually cancel each other. 2 minus 2, that's a 0. So you're going to be left with minus 2x plus 5, which is equal to minus 7. So how can I solve for x at this stage? Okay, I'm going to transpose. Minus 2x is equal to, transpose this 5 to the right hand side, is going to be a negative 5. So it's going to be minus 7 minus 5, which is minus 12 from your calculator. Okay, so you're going to obtain negative 12. So how am I going to solve for x? This 2 is multiplying, so you divide by it, divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, these cancel. So x is going to give us what? Negative, and negative cancel is going to be a positive 6. So therefore, x is equal to 6. So that's the idea there. Very simple actually, but you have to revise as much questions. Okay, so for x again, we are given a fraction again on 4.12. We have got 5x over 2 minus 1, which is equal to x plus 5. So this one was they wanted to test you how you treat numbers. Okay, so let's let's forget about the fraction for the meantime. We can actually start by transposing. -1 to this side is going to be a +1. So we're going to have 5x over 2, which is equal to, you've got x here, 5 plus 1, which is actually a 6. All right. So as you can see, here I'm having a fraction. So I can actually cross multiply. How do I cross multiply? This is x plus 6. As a fraction, it is same as everything like this over 1. Guys, it's one and the same thing, okay? If you are given a number like 2, 2 is the same as 2 over 1. X is the same as x over 1, okay? So now I can cross multiply this part, and this multiply this part. But take note, it's 1 times 5x, which is 5x, which is equal to 2 multiplies everything here, because it's 2, it's x plus 6, so it's 2 times x, that's 2x, 2 and 6, so it's 2 times 6, which is 12, like that, okay? Then what am I going to do? Now collect like terms. So the value is with x, so I'm going to transpose this 2 to this side. Is going to be a minus, so it's going to be 5x minus 2x, which is equal to 12. So 5 minus 2, which is 3x from your calculator, you're going to obtain 12. Divide by 3 from your calculator. This one you can do it. So x is equal to 12 divided by 3, which is going to give you a 4. So therefore, the value of x at this moment is going to give us a 4. So that is the idea there, okay? Then on 4.2, half a certain number. Take note, do we know the number? We don't know the number. So half a certain number, let's just say it's x. So half of x subtracted from 13 equals 5. Okay, subtracted, which means this okay, let's write it down. 4.2 like this. There is half a certain number, so it's half of x. That's a certain number. This number was subtracted from, it was taken from 13, so it means 13 minus the number. Take note, guys. So it's 13 minus the number, which is half x. What do you obtain? Equals 5. You obtained a 5, so you obtained a 5. So what is the number? Determine the number. So which means you are determining the value of what? The value of x. So you're actually given this equation to solve. Okay, so I'm going to transpose 5 to this side, is going to subtract, so it's 13 minus 5 is equal to minus half to this side is going to be a plus half. It was a minus. Once it crosses the equal sign, it changes now a plus. Okay, so you can actually use your calculator to subtract 13 minus 5, or if you know it by head, you can just write, which is 8 is equivalent to half x. So how can I obtain x? I can divide by half, because I'm multiplying by half. I can divide by half, or I can cross multiply. Why? Because this 8 is same as 8 over 1. So I can just cross multiply like this. 2 times 8, it's 16. 1 times 1x is 1 and 1x, so 1x is x. So therefore it means x is equal to 16. Okay, so as you can see, guys, these are pretty nice questions that you can work with preparing for yourselves for the exams, guys. You won't go wrong. Okay, given that s is equal to n over 2 plus a into a plus l, make or change the subject of the given formula to a. So we want to make a to be the subject on 4.3, where we are given that s is equivalent to n over 2 into a plus l, like this, and you want to make a to be the subject. All right, so there are so many ways, guys, that you could do. The first thing, you can actually cross multiply, because this is same as over 1, so you can cross multiply just like what we're doing. So if I cross multiply, it's 2 times s, 2 multiplies s, so it's 2s, which is equal to 1 times n, it's n into a plus l, like this. Okay, so I want to make n a to be the subject, so I have two options here. I can divide by n. I'm going to indicate the two options. I can divide by n like this. So if I divide by n, I'm going to have 2s over n, which is equal to a plus l. So what can I do to make A to be the subject? I can simply transpose this L to this side. It's going to be minus. So it's going to be 2s over n minus L is equal to A. So as you can see, I have made A to be the subject, which is equal to 2s over n minus L. Take note, these two are not combined. They are separate like this, okay? But that could be another option, because I could have just said 2s is equal to n into A plus L. I could have just expanded the brackets first. 2s is equal to n times A, that's NA, plus n times L, which is NL. Remember, I want to make A the subject, so I'm going to transpose this NL to this side, so it's going to subtract, so it's 2s minus NL, which is equal to NA. And I want to make A to be the subject, so n is multiplying. So how do I remove this n? I divide by n like this, so it's going to cancel. So therefore A is equal to this whole fraction, which is 2s minus NL, so it's 2s minus NL over n like this. So you can write it like this. It's one and the same. So this answer here and this answer here, they mean the same thing. They are just one and the same thing. So they can mark any of these two answers, okay? Or they can be another way again. You never know. Change of subject, guys. It's not like a limited topic that you're supposed to be limited to one working. No, there are so many ways. There are so many ways and options for you to answer those typical questions. So what you need is to be very, very careful whilst you are answering the questions. This is what you are supposed to get rid of, or to be very, very careful of. So if you are to cross-check on the other part there, I want you to see this part that we had question number 5, which actually needed us to use the graph paper on this part, because we are asked to use the table, draw the graph, and so forth. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, let's see what we are going to have at the end. In fact, let's see. On 5.11, given the gradient is 3 and the y-intercept is equal to 1 of a straight line, determine the equation of the straight line by using the given values. Okay, from these values, guys, what can I do? I'm just given the gradient. All right, the gradient is there. That's a 3, and the y-intercept is there. These guys, they are very clever. Anyways, the y-intercept is a 1, and they want you to determine the equation. Okay, guys, you are just going to use the gradient intercept form, where you are given that if you are given y is equal to mx plus c like this, m represents the gradient and c represents the y-intercept. That is what this equation represents. So you're just going to substitute y is equal to m, which is the gradient. So the gradient is 3. So it's going to be 3x. C, the y-intercept, which is 1. So it's going to be plus 1 like that. So these guys, they are very clever. They just wanted you to substitute. They want you to know the properties of this straight line, not just to memorize, but to know it actually. Okay, so that's it on this part. Given that the y-intercept is equal to minus 1 of a straight line and the coordinates is determine the equation of a straight given. Okay, this time these guys, they just want to play with us. Anyways, let's see how they are playing with us. This time they gave us the y-intercept, which is a minus 1, okay, and a coordinate on the line. We are given a coordinate this time. We are given just another point. A coordinate is just a point, so we are given another coordinate, which is minus 2, 1, and they want you to determine the equation by using the given values. Okay, so how am I going to determine the equation? Okay, I have the y-intercept, so there's no way. I know that. So in this case, it's different from that last part where you are given the gradient. In this case, you are not given the gradient, so you have to find the gradient. Okay, so how do you find the gradient? Remember, you are given the y-intercept, and the y-intercept, we know that in the a y-axis like this, if you are given a straight line like this, in the y-intercept, in the y-axis here, where you have the y-intercept, in the y-axis, x is equal to 0. So when this is the value of y, where x is equal to 0, in the x-axis, y is the one that is equal to 0. So it means the y-intercept that you are given, which is -1, the coordinate is 0, -1. So you are given 2 points. The y-intercept is a point, that's a coordinate, and another coordinate. So you have to find the gradient using these 2 points, the y-intercept and another point that you are given, which is this coordinate of -2, 1. So you are going to find the gradient. You are the one who is calculating this gradient. This time you are the one who is calculating the gradient, and we know that the gradient, guys, is equal to what? The gradient is equal to the change in y over the change in x, which is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in order for you not to mistaken this, you name the coordinates. Okay, this is your point, this is your first point, this is your second point. So this is your x1, y1, this is your x2, and this is your y2, like that. So you substitute the points now. Y2, the y2 that I'm having is 1, so it's 1 minus y1, in this case, or y1 is -1, so it's going to be 1 minus -1, like that. Okay, over x2. X2 in this case is -2, so it's -2 minus x1, which is a 0, like that. Okay, so if you simplify this properly, you're going to obtain a -1 from your calculator. You're going to have a -1. Okay, this is minus, which is going to give you 2 over -2 minus 0, which is -2, so you're going to obtain -1 as the gradient. So I'm now having the gradient. So what am I going to do? Remember, we said the equation is in the form of y is equal to mx plus c, where m represents the gradient and c is the y-intercept. So I now have the gradient. The gradient is the one that I obtained. It's -1. So it's going to be -1x. So it's -1x, which is -x. Okay, -1x simply means -x. Okay, plus c, which is the y-intercept. We are given the y-intercept, guys. The y-intercept is already there. The only thing that we didn't have is the gradient. That is why we had to calculate the gradient. But the y-intercept is there. The y-intercept is -1, which is c. So it's going to be plus -1, like this. Okay, so y is equivalent to -x, plus and minus gives you minus. So this is going to be the equation of the straight line. So therefore y is equal to -x minus 1. That is going to be the equation on 5.12. That was going to be your equation there. Okay, then 5.13, draw the graph of y minus 3x on a graph paper. We are asked to draw on 5.13. there is no way you have to draw 5.13. Y minus 3x is equal to 1 on a graph paper. So in order for you to draw this line, guys, you are not given values of x to use. So you are the one who is choosing these values. So the first thing, you can just you can write it like this, or you can just rewrite this equation as y is equal to, you transpose minus 3x to this side is going to be plus 3x. Y is equal to plus 3x plus 1, like this. Okay, so you are going to draw this graph using the values of x of your choice. Okay, so you just need a table. So you can just remember, when you're drawing a straight line, you don't need many values. 3 values, they are fine, or even 2 values, they are fine. So you have x and y like this. Okay, so let's substitute that 3 values of your choice. Okay, so you can choose, I'm going to choose -1, 0 and 1. These are the values of your choice, guys. But don't choose the values which are big values. No, just choose reasonable values. Okay, you substitute these values. When x is -1, you substitute -1 here. So it's y is equal to 3x plus 1, and x is -1, so it's y is equal to 3 into x, which is -1 plus 1. Okay, so from your calculator you are going to obtain -2. If you do this properly, this is going to give you -2. Okay, when x is 0, you do the same, you substitute 0 here, so it's going to be y is equal to 3 into 0 like this plus 1. So you're going to obtain a 1. If you use your calculator properly, this is going to give you a 1. When x is 1, you substitute 1 here, so it's going to be like this, y is equal to 3 into 1 plus 1, which is going to give you a 4 if you do this substitution properly on your calculator. So unfortunately, we are going to use another type of a graph actually, because the one that we were given there is not there. We are not having it, so we are going to do with our own graph here, guys, but I hope you're going to understand. Okay, all right, so this is it. So since I'm just having this graph, let's just divide this into a suitable scale that you can actually work with, because we are not given this part, guys. So we need values of x up to 1, so they are fine. It's not a big deal, guys, this one. I want you to see what's happening here. So you just draw your vertical line like this, and your horizontal line like this. All right, this is what you are having there. So this is your x-axis, and this is 0, and that's your y-axis here. So you're going to just name your points 1, 2, okay, -1, -2 like this. Then you've got -2, not 3, -1, -2, then 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is what I'm going to have. -1, -2, -3. So you'll be given a graph that you're going to use, but you just mark a suitable scale of your choice. Okay, so now you're going to mark this point. So this is a point here, -1 and -2. It's a point where x is -1 and y is -2. X is -1 here and y is -2 here. They meet at this point. You mark a point like this. Okay, so you're going to mark a point like that. You move on to another one, 0 and 1. That's a point when x is 0, y is 1. When x is 0, y is 1. So it's this point. You mark a point. Okay, you move on to another one. That's 1, 4. When x is 1, y is 4. Okay, when x is 1 here, y is 4 there, so it's 1 and 4 at this point. You mark a point like this. All right, so these are the points that you are now having. So marking these points, you are going to join them, this point and this point. These 3 points, they are enough for you to have a straight line like this. Okay, so you just make sure that you join them properly. Okay, guys, so join these points properly like this. Okay, so if you join these points properly, that's a straight line that you're going to have. So this is the straight line of y is equal to 3x plus 1, or you can write y minus 3x is equal to 1. It's one and the same thing. So the idea there is making a table of values. From the table of values, you indicate that graph on. So you mark your points properly. As you can see, you just need to mark your points properly there. So that is the idea there. Okay, so that's what we had on sketching the graph there, or on drawing. That one was to draw. So take note, guys, it's not just to draw, but on graph paper. All right, given xy minus 3 is equal to 0, use the table method to draw the graph, or to draw the graph on graph paper again. For the domain, we are given the domain. The domain, these are the values of x that you're supposed to use from -3 up to 3. This is the domain. Okay, so before you draw, let's just analyze the equation that you are given here. Xy minus 3 is equal to 0 like that. Okay, we know that this one is going to give us actually an inverse function. So it's supposed to be in the form of y is equal to a over x like this. So you're supposed to rewrite, make y to be the subject. Okay, so you're going to transpose 3 to this side is going to be -3 to this side is going to be a +3 on the right hand side. So xy is equal to +3. What can I do? I want to make y the subject. So what is affecting here is x. So I'm going to divide by x by x. So if I divide by x, it means y is equal to 3 over x. So that's my equation. So therefore, let us have the table here, guys, x and y. So we are given the values of x to use from -3 up to 3. So I'm just going to use these values: -3, -1, 1, and 3. So it's -3, -1, 1, and 3. So just like the previous part, you substitute when x is -3, you substitute -3 here because you are given that y is equal to 3 over x. So it's going to be y is equal to 3 over x, which is -3. So definitely it's going to be -1. So you're going to obtain -1. When x is -1, you do the same. Y is equal to 3 over -1 in place of x. So 3 divided by -1, that's -3 here. 3 divided by x, which is 1, is going to be 3. 3 divided by x, which is 3. So 3 divided by 3, that's a 1. So these are the points that you're supposed to use now on the graph paper to draw this one. So just like the previous part, you just need a proper table of values that you can use. So this time, guys, is from -3 up to 3. Take note, guys, from -3 up to 3. So it's supposed to be something that you're supposed to actually take care of. Okay, so I'm just going to have, this is your x-axis like this, and this is your y-axis. Okay, so take note from 0 up to 3. So this is 0, after a box 1, after a box 2, after a box 3, like that, -1, -2, -3, like that. Okay, you move on to y. This is going to be 1 again, 2, and this is going to be your 3. Oh, 1, 2 here, guys. This is your 2. This box, they are not that clear, but it's 1. This is the whole box, a 1. Okay, and this is going to be your 2, your whole box, and this will be your 3 here. So this is your 3, this is your 2, and this is your 1. Okay, on y, this is going to be your -1 here, and this is going to be your -2 here, and this is going to be your -3. All right, so just like the previous part, you have to mark these points. When x is -3, y is -1, so you mark this point -3, -1. So x is -3 here, y is -1 here, so you mark a point where these two meet. X and y, they meet at this point, you mark a point. Okay, that's -3, -1. We move on to another point. When x is -1, y is -3, so it's -1, -3, -1, -3. At this point, you mark a point again. When x is -1, y is -3, you mark a point. Okay, you move on to another one. When x is 1, y is 3. When x is 1, y is 3. There, this is our y, which is 3. When x is 1, there on top here, so you mark your point here. And the last point, when x is 3, y is 1. So it's 3 versus 1. So when x is 3, y is 1, at this point, you mark a point like that. Okay, so when you are working with an inverse function or hyperbola like that, a type of function, you know that it's a positive, so it's supposed to be like this. This is you're supposed to actually know the sketch before you draw the graph. It's something like this. This is how it's supposed to look like. Okay, so which means you are going to join this point and this point, and also this point and this point. So just something like this, guys. You join. So you are using your pencil there. I'm just using them so that it's clear. Something like this. Okay. So you just draw a smooth curve like that. Okay, something like this. And there's another piece here, down here. So there's another piece here. All right, let's hope it's going to be clear, guys. Something like this again. All right, so something like that. Okay, so you've got a piece here and another piece here. So you just write xy is equal to, it was xy, is it xy minus 3 is equal to 0, or you can write as y is equal to 3 over x, no matter the way that you want. Okay, so that was actually the idea that you had in order for you to have this sketch. So as you can see, guys, that's how they can ask these questions. That's how they can actually ask such type of a question, and you have to be very, very careful with the typical question that you are given. Okay, so question number 6. is the one that we are having now, question 6 there. All right, so on number 6 there, we are given complete the following sentence by writing only answer next to the question. Number 6.1 in the answer book. Take note, guys, when you are given this type of a question, answer. You just need the answer only in the answer book on 6.1. Okay. A and B, that is angle A and angle B, are complementary angles. Okay. If A is equal to 50 degrees, then angle B is equal to what? Okay, so the first thing is to work on complementary angles. Okay, so what are complementary angles? We know that these are two angles which add up to 90 degrees. Okay, if they are supplementary angles, these are the ones now which are two angles which add up to 180 degrees, but complementary, they add up to 90. So in order for you to find angle B, you know that when you add these two angles, angle A plus angle B, you must obtain 90 degrees. Okay, so you are given angle A, which is 50 degrees. In this case, if you are to cross check, angle A is 50 degrees. So 50 degrees plus angle B should give us 90 degrees. Okay, so what is going to be angle B? So angle B is going to, you transpose this, so it's going to be 90 minus 50 degrees, which is going to give you 40 degrees from your calculator. All right, so that's it, guys. Determine the value of A, B, and C and D on the diagram below and give a reason for each answer. So guys, read the question. You are supposed to give a reason for each answer. After that, after finding the value of A, you give a reason. All right, so let's see. We are given these are parallel lines. Okay, so we can take this angle of 60 degrees here and this angle A, they are equal. Why? If you are to cross check here, we are having a Z which is being created, a Z angle. So these are alternate angles, Z angles, alternate angles. Okay, so this is 6.2. So you're asked to give the angle. So A is equal to, we said A is equal to 62 degrees. A and B, they are equal. So A is equal to 62 degrees. Reason, these are alternate angles. Okay, so we've got alternate angles. Alternate angles with angle B. Okay, so with angle B there, they are alternate angles. So they are equal. Remember that alternate angles are equal. So alternate angles are equal. Alternate angles are equal. All right. Then we move on to B. How can we find B? B is the same thing again. If you are to cross check here, there's a Z again that is created here between angle A and angle C. So this B is equal to 50 degrees. There is a Z here. Okay, that's a Z. So B is equal to 56 degrees. Okay, so B is equal to 56 degrees. The reason, alternate angles again are equal. So alternate angles are equal. You write the reason is what we did on the first part. So you have to write it. Okay, so we now know that this is 62 degrees. We now know that this is 56 degrees. All right, so you're going to indicate that so that it can help you to find another value. Okay, then let's move on to C. C, this is your angle C here. So what are we noting from that C? These are angles in a triangle. Remember that angles in a triangle, they actually add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so to find C, we are going to subtract the two angles that you are given from 180, because angles in a triangle, they add up to 180. So you add 62 and 56. So 62 degrees plus 56 degrees. All right, so we are going to find the answer. Okay, but the reason here is angles in a triangle. Angles in a triangle. Angles in a triangle add up to 180. Add up to 180 degrees. All right, so you can actually use your calculator to determine this value. That's 180 minus, you open a bracket there, so it's 62 plus 56. 62 plus 56 like this in a bracket, so you're going to obtain 62 degrees. All right, so this angle is going to give us 62 degrees. All right, so that's what we had actually there. So if you are to cross check this angle, which is 62 degrees, is angle C here, which is 62 degrees. All right, so that's it, guys. It's as you can see, it's the same as this one. So that's your angle C here. So the reason we said these are angles in a triangle which actually add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so that's your angle C. Then you move on to D. How are we going to find angle D? I want you to cross check between C and D. These angles are vertically opposite angles. As you can see, these two angles are equal, or you can use the same concept. You determine from this one angles in a triangle, you find D, or you can actually just use the concept that these two angles are equal, vertically opposite angles like this. Okay, so those two angles are equal, so it means D is equal to 62 degrees. So D is equal to 62 degrees. So you can use the concept of vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles are equal. Vertically opposite angles are equal. So that is the reason there. So you are asked to give a reason, to state a reason. All right, then on question 7, so that was actually 9 marks on question 6, and then on question 7 we are given a quadrant. It's actually they drew a quadrant for us. Then we are given that sine A is equal to 3/5. Okay, so remember, guys, the ratio for sine, that sine A is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Where do we get this from? Where do we get this from? You can actually use the these mnemonics, SOHCAHTOA. So remember, you have got SOHCAHTOA like this. All right, so sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So if it is opposite over hypotenuse like that, we are given that sine A is 3/5 and A is from 0 to 90 degrees. That is why it is in the first quadrant. So it means from this, I'm going to have, this is your angle A. As you can see, they already indicated your angle A. So opposite, this is your opposite, and this is your hypotenuse. So the opposite is 3. This is your opposite 3. So according to A, this is your opposite here. So this side is 3. Okay, the hypotenuse which is H, which is 5. So the is the longer side, this one, which is 5, like that. Okay, so as you can see that that is what you're going to have on the right angle triangle. Then the first question is calculate the value of x. So how can I calculate the value of x? Now I know that I have 5, I have 3, so I have to calculate this third side. So what am I going to do to calculate that third side? I'm going to use the Pythagoras Theorem. Okay, remember the Pythagoras Theorem, guys, that c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. All right, but in this case now, I'm not going to write as this because I'm given the letters here. I'm given r, I'm given x, I'm given y. So r is the one that is representing c squared, which is the hypotenuse. So r squared is equal to x and y. These are the shorter sides, which is x and y. Okay, so it's going to be x squared plus y squared in place of what? In place of a and b. Now we can substitute. Our r squared is the one which is the hypotenuse, the longer side, which is opposite to 90 degrees, the right angle, this one, so it's 5. So it's going to be 5 squared, which is equal to x squared is the one that you want to calculate, so you're just going to write as it is, plus y squared. From the information that we used from this sign, we obtained that y is equal to 3, so you're going to substitute 3 squared. All right, so let's simplify together, guys. 5 squared from your calculator, this is 25, which is equal to x squared plus 3 squared, which is 9. So now you can transpose to this side. 9 is going to be a minus, so it's 25 minus 9, which is equal to x squared. So 25 minus 9, that's 16 from your calculator, which is equal to x squared. So how can I find x? There's a square, so I'm going to introduce the square root. So x will be equal to square root of 16, which is 4. So this is a length, guys, so I'm not going to use like plus or minus, I'm just going to write as a plus like that, which is 4. So x is equal to 4. So we got the value of x here, which is 4. All right. And that's 3 marks for that. Determine without using a calculator the value of cos A. Okay, cos A, which is cos of this angle here. So still, guys, we can use our mnemonics here. Remember what we wrote before. So we want to find the value of cos A, angle A. Remember that we said that's soccer tower like this. Soccer tower like that. Okay, so cos here is adjacent over the hypotenuse, so it means cos A is equal to adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is equivalent to what is our adjacent. In this case, according to angle A, this is our adjacent, which is 4, and the hypotenuse is 5. So it's going to be 4 over 5, and it is in the first quadrant, where we know that in the first quadrant cos is a positive. All right. Then determine on 7.13 without the use of a calculator. Again, take note, guys, without a calculator, the value of the expression, and simplify the answer. So you need the expression and also to simplify the answer. 1 divided by tan A. All right, so let's see what we're supposed to do. There is 1 divided by tan A. This is 7.13. So 1 divided by tan A like this. So it's same as 1 divided by, we have to find the value of tan A. So back to the diagram, we need the value of tan. So from this soccer tower, you can agree with me that tan is opposite over the adjacent. So if it is opposite over adjacent, let's see what is the opposite here. According to A, this is the opposite, which is 3, and the adjacent, which is 4. So it's 3 over 4. So it means tan A is opposite 3 over the adjacent, which is 4. But take note, I'm dividing 1 divided by 3 over A. Remember from your division that you have to introduce a multiplication. The moment you introduce a multiplication, you invert the second fraction. So it's going to be 4 over 3. And take note, you are multiplying by 1, guys. Any number times 1 is equal to that number. So it's going to remain as 4 over 3. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 10 is 10. So it means 1 times this is going to remain as 4 over 3. So that's what we had, or you can write this as a mixed fraction if you want. But that's what we actually had. Okay, simplify the expression by making use of special angles. Okay, special angles without the use of a calculator. Which are special angles? Okay, let's get to them. Let's see the first question and get to the special angles. They will give you this in your formula sheet. So it's a matter of taking down the information, guys. How are we given such a condition? It's a matter of just taking these from what? From the special angles of 60, 30, and what? And 90 degrees, and 40, and also 45 degrees. Okay. So sorry for that. So in this case, we have got the triangles here. So as you can see, we are given 30, 60, and 45 and 45. Okay. So the question is 6 sine 30. Remember, we said sine, it's opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so it's going to be 6 times sine 30. We go back to the diagram here. This is sine 30. According to this 30, this is the opposite, and this is the hypotenuse. So it's 1 over 2. 1 over 2, opposite over hypotenuse. So you're going to obtain 1 over 2. So it's 6 times 1 over 2 minus 4 times cos 60 degrees. Okay, according to cos, this is cos 60 degrees. This one, this is your 60 degrees here. And cos, remember, cos we are also given here the ratios. Cos is b over c. So cos here according to b over, which is adjacent over the hypotenuse, b over c, adjacent over hypotenuse. So in this case, this is your angle of 60 degrees. So the adjacent is 1, the hypotenuse is 1. This is your adjacent according to 60, where these two angles are lying on a line. That's the adjacent now, because you are working with 60 degrees. So this becomes your adjacent, which is 1 over the hypotenuse, which is 2. So as you can see, cos 60 degrees is going to give us 1/2. All right, so you can simplify. This simply means 6 times a half, you're going to obtain a 3 here, minus 4 times a half, you're going to obtain a 2. So 3 minus 2, which is going to give you a 1. All right, so that's it, guys. If you are given to work with the special angles, it's a matter of substitution there. All right, then the last question, on question 8, we are given the quadrilateral PQRST is a parallelogram. Okay, PQRT. Okay, so we have a quadrilateral. So given quadrilateral, we have got the quadrilateral PQST. So this is a normal quadrilateral, which is an angle of 90, and a parallelogram, which is PQRT. So this one is a parallelogram. And remember, guys, for a parallelogram, I have talked about this in the previous classes. You'll be given something like this. That's a parallelogram where opposite sides are parallel and equal. So these sides, they are parallel, and these sides, they are also parallel and equal. So using this information, we can fill in the diagram first by just looking at this information, because you can see that these size, they are P to T, it's 70, so this is also 70 millimeters, because they are parallel from Q to R here. So these sides, they are parallel and equal. Also these ones, they are parallel and equal. So if this is 50, this is also 50 millimeters, so you also have 50 millimeters here. All right, so the question is determine the length of RT. Okay, this is RT. So as you can see, RT is already there. It's what, 50 millimeters, because it's an opposite of what, of this side PQ. This side, they are parallel and equal, parallel and equal. So you already have the value of what, of RT. So this is 8.11, where RT is equal to, you just take the value that we had here, which is 50 millimeters. So it's 50 millimeters. Okay, we move on. Calculate the length of ST. Okay, this is your ST here. So as you can see from this section here, this is a right angle triangle that is given. So we can use the concept of a right angle triangles, because we are given 50 millimeters, 30 millimeters, and this is your R, this is your S, and this is your T. So you want to calculate this side. Okay, this is a right angle triangle like that. So remember, we said Pythagoras theorem, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, which is the one that you are given in your formula sheet. So you can substitute 50 for the hypotenuse, which is 50 here. So 50 squared is equal to a and b. These are the shorter sides, which is this is ST and this 30. So it's 30 squared plus ST. This is your ST here. So you're going to just write as ST squared like that. Okay, so 30 squared, 50 squared, you can use your calculator to find the value of 50 squared, or you can transpose this and find the value at the same time. 50 squared, you transpose 30 squared to this, is going to be minus 30 squared, which is going to remain with ST squared. Okay, so 50 squared minus sorry, there's too much lie there, so but it's going to give you something like 50 squared minus 30 squared, which is going to give us 1600. So you're going to obtain 1600, which is equal to ST squared. So to find ST, since there's a square, you introduce the square root, you introduce the square root. So therefore your ST is going to be the square root of the answer. So you just write square root, then you put answer in that bracket. So you're going to obtain 40 millimeters. All right, so this is the value of what, of ST, which is on 8.12. That's the value of ST. You can use Pythagoras theorem. Okay, so we now have the value of ST, which is 40 millimeters like that, which is actually the perpendicular height. All right, then the question, calculate the perimeter of PQST. Okay, PQS to T, the perimeter. Okay, so remember that perimeter is the distance right around the shape. Okay, so we are going to have this on 8.13, which is the perimeter. You add everything around this shape. That's the perimeter. So you've got 50, 70, 30, 40, and 7, because that's the perimeter around this. Remember, it's P, Q, S, T. You are not going inside here, it's around the figure there. So you've got 50 plus 70, so that's 50 plus 70 plus this 30 plus 40 plus 30 plus 40, so 30 and 40, then we are left with 70 plus 70, like this. All right, so you add everything together there, 50 plus 70 plus 30 plus 40 plus 70, so you have to add everything. You're going to obtain 260 millimeters. Remember, this is a perimeter. It's going to remain with millimeters, just like that. All right, so that's 2 marks, as you can see. All right, the area of a rectangle is 750 square centimeters and the length is 30 centimeters. Calculate the breadth of the rectangle. All right, you are given a rectangle. Remember, this is a rectangle where you've got the length and the breadth. Okay, so take note, these are not equal. These are not equal. It's just the way that I drew them. So you are given that the area of this rectangle is 750. This is 750 square centimeters, like this. Okay, and you are given that the length is 30 centimeters. You are given the length here is 30 centimeters. Then you are asked to calculate the breadth of the rectangle. Okay, what can I do, or which information can I use? Okay, I know this relationship between the area and the length and the breadth, that the area of a rectangle is equal to the length times the breadth. Take note, area is equal to length times breadth of a rectangle. So you've got the area, which is 750, which is equal to the length. You are given the length, that the length is 30, so it's 30 times b. So how can you find the value of b? You just divide by 30, because you are multiplying. So you divide by 30, you divide by the number that is multiplying this one, 30. So therefore your b, which is the breadth of the rectangle, is going to give us something like 225. Is it 25 there? Let me just divide properly. That's 750 divided by 30. All right, which is going to give us 25. So you're going to obtain 25 centimeters, which is the breadth of the rectangle. So it was a matter of using the information that we were given, the area, then you relate to the area, to the formula of area. Okay, calculate 72% of 6,500 rand. 72%. Okay, so this one is a straightforward question. 72% of means you're multiplying. When you are given of, you are multiplying. So it's 72%. Remember, to remove percentage, you divide by 100. So it's 72 over 100 times 6,500 rand, like that. Okay, or 0.72 times 6,500. So using your calculator, you're going to obtain 72 over 100, or 0.72 times 6,500. Okay, which is going to give you 4,680 rand. So that is what you're going to obtain there as the 72% of that amount. All right, then let's see what we have on the last question. 8.4. Two siblings must share 81 million in the ratio of 4:5. Calculate each sibling's share of the money. All right, they are sharing 4:5. So the first one is going to get 4, the other one 5, but we need the total of the ratio, which is 4 plus 5, which is 9. So you have a total of 9 there. All right, so the first one is going to have 3 parts out of 4 parts there. Okay, so this is 8.4. Okay, so the first one is going to have 4 as a ratio of 4 out of the total, which is 9. So it's 4 out of 9 times the amount that they are sharing. They are sharing 81 million So you're going to multiply by 81 million. All right, something like that. So it's simply 4 over 9 times what? 4 over 9 times 81. That is what you're going to do, which is 36 million. So this one is going to obtain 36 million rand. All right. The other one is a ratio of 5. So it's going to be 5 over 9 times 81 million, which is the total. Okay, so this one is going to obtain a bigger amount than the first one because it's 5, which is going to be 45 million rand. All right, so this is the total of the second one. Is going to obtain 45 million rand. So guys, as you can see, that's 4 marks for that, and obtaining a total of 14 and everything a total of 100. So you can actually obtain this total of 100 if you work with more question papers and revisions. You can actually obtain this mark. This mark is designed for you guys to obtain it. It's for you. It's not designed just like that. It's designed for someone to obtain that mark. So it means it's possible. It's very, very possible. So guys, as you can see, that's what we had from this past exam paper for mathematics N1. So more question papers to come from Mason African Motives. So if you are new, you can consider subscribing so that you won't miss any of the classes that we shall be having for mathematics N1, N2 up to N6. So what you need is to become part of this family, Mason African Motives, as we move together on revisions on past exam papers for mathematics N1. So that's it guys, till we meet again.